Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be designing a horizontal layout for the first week of October in my catch-all planner. So come plan with me. And I've got a few outliners here ready to go, as well as some calligraphy ink and a paintbrush for some splattering, some washi tape I may use, some die-cut stickers I got from Amazon, this Happy Planner sticker book, and this Planning Things sticker book, which I'll pull from. Okay, gonna go ahead and lay down some wax paper and get started on this week's design. I had in mind a sort of layout for these leaves for fall, obviously, but we will see. What I had in mind ended up kind of getting steered in another direction once I started laying things down. I mean, I like the way it turned out, but it wasn't how I originally thought I was going to go with this, which happens sometimes when you're designing a spread. So the first thing I'm doing is kind of sorting these leaves and other leaf litter into different piles, mainly by size at first. But then as I was going through the stack, I noticed some had some stylistic differences. Some looked a little bit more like clip art, some more like watercolor, and then some looked like photorealistic leaves. So I think I'm going to stick mostly with the sort of watercolor illustrated look as opposed to the real strong clip art or photorealistic versions of these leaves. So I'm just going to sort those out and then try to pull together a few in different sizes and colors that I think I'm going to use here on the spread. That said, I think I've got a pretty good mix here. We're down to the small ones, and I think I like that. Should be enough to fill the spaces that I'm thinking to do here on the layout. So originally I was thinking to do more of a mid-page kind of column spread where the leaves would be going down the center of each page, kind of cascading down from the top, and then I would intermix stuff in between them. But then as I was laying it down on the wax paper, I kind of liked the idea of them sweeping up to the corner instead. Just kind of saw it there when I was organizing the stickers. So I decided to give that a try. I've laid them out. They're kind of in the way that I'm thinking. It's a little bit tricky with this large decor, how I want to lay them out, since I'm going to be layering some colorful boxes on top of them to keep that space functional. Since they're die cut, I wasn't real sure about the order of operations here. Usually the stickers are already kind of stuck down, but so then I started to realize I needed to stick some of these die cuts down to really formulate the layout. Also thinking about color and proportions too. I don't want anything to be too clumped up as far as color on this one. I recently did a really nice one that was like a gradient spread that had a strong color scheme going from, one color to the next in a gradient style. This one I really want to be more of a mix of fall feels, since there's so many varieties of leaves and colors in the stickers that I'm going to be using. Just didn't think I was going to be as powerful as it was on the other set of stickers I had. So we're going to do more of a mix, just like a fall color scheme. I've started to lay in some colorful boxes from the Planning Thing Autumn Houses sticker book to help keep the space functional for me, specifically in those days with a lot of this leaf decor. Layering that should help me actually use the spread to its fullest. And I'm just trying to tuck in some leaves behind a couple of boxes there down in the Thursday box, making that all feel how I envision with the flowing of the leaves along with the boxes there, again, for functionality. And then I've also grabbed in this quote, this fall quote from the Happy Planner. I think it's Woodland sticker book that just came out, and I'm going to try to incorporate that as well. I actually really like the placement of the quote in this spot, but as you'll see as we start developing this, it's just not going to be a functional space for the quote because basically I have no function areas on Wednesday when I'm done. That said, I was a little disappointed. I was like, I really liked it there, but we make some moves and get it all to work in the end. I'm also looking for some alternate quotes for the other areas of the pages. And then remembered I wanted to use these paper versions of those quotes instead of the clear, since a lot of these stickers have that paper look because they're all outlined in white. So I just thought it would be a good place to use that same kind of look and feel. I tend to prefer my stickers to not be on paper when they're like big decor stickers like this. I like the clear sticker look a lot better, but sometimes, you find what you find, and I really did actually like these ones being outlined in white. Just made it a little bit easier to put them together in the way that I did. I'm taking this acorn here and actually trimming out a little bit of that excess white border so that I can make it look like it's one sticker, and that worked out really well. We'll add in a bit more of these colorful boxes in and around the leaves. Again, trying to create like a cascade going from the bottom right or from the bottom left to the top right. Now just gonna start fitting in the leaves where I think that they'll work. Really the only day that was brutally affected by the amount of decor is Wednesday, and a little bit on Thursday there too, but at least I got some boxes in there. But Wednesday is tight right now with that quote. The other ones I was able to kind of envision where I could put a checklist on each of those days, as well as where I could have like some focus areas as I was developing it and then dropping in boxes as needed or adjusting the leaf placement. The one at the bottom there, that just was a tight spot that really was a little bit tricky to work around. So I'm dropping in a few more of those leaves now. They're in the top corner. Again, really try to work in some boxes, mixing up the colors, and then trying to reiterate that flow. It's nice having a bit of variety with the styles and the colors of the stickers. Makes it a little bit easier to bring things together and make it look like a cohesive look when they're all kind of big and touching but all different. If you put them close together, it really does help make it feel like one thing. Now I'm just trying to work in maybe a couple more stickers and a colorful box for another focus area up here in the top. It's a little bit of a gap issue that I'm seeing here with the decor, so I'm going to make a few adjustments, trying to find a happier spot for some of these things. And then maybe change out the boxes that I use here. And I like that. Actually, it looks pretty good. And here's where I just knew that that quote was not going to work in its place because I had no room for any kind of focus or anything there on Wednesday. So I grabbed out another quote as well in that paper version, and I'll put that on the left side page to balance out with the right. Maybe try to fit in a couple more boxes here for a focus area. So if you're new to my channel and this is the very first Plan With Me you've seen, I like to divide up my horizontal planners in a certain way. I like to have about a third of each day be for decor, a third for a checklist, and then a third for focus area or some kind of highlight for the day. That's how I tend to plan. It kind of calls my attention for the, what's the highlight of the day, but also I have all my to-dos, they're listed. And then, of course, the visual aspect that keeps me engaged with my planner through the decor, stickers, or whatever else I'm doing to make it look pretty. So that's how I build my spreads, and I'm always mindful of that functionality as I design. It's the most important thing to me as a planner, so I do put that as a priority as I'm developing. And I've got 3 of the gold quotes in, and am looking for a way to balance those out with that kind of swoosh I've got going there, along with adding a little bit more visual interest in some of the more sparse areas. I could have left it pretty sparse with just that main event there going across the page, which would have looked great, but I knew I would want some moments earlier in the week to look through as I was filling in my planner and at the end. So I just added some elements in there just to call a little bit more fun and attention to some areas, but again, still keeping things functional. So I had cut up a long box there to have it go off the top and the bottom. That I think just helps for balance, and that should pretty much do it for the decor on this spread. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving things over, starting with these standalone areas here at the top, and then I'll do the one at the bottom too eventually. Get those settled and trimmed. And I was going to start with the other side, but I want to make sure everything's nice and lined up. So we're going to roll off these stickers from the wax paper. And as I was aligning it, I did shift this up just a smidge on the left page. So I did have to do them kind of separately. As you'll see, as I roll things off, I have to kind of stop and reset the other side of the page because I did shift it up. But overall, it came off really smooth. It's usually so much easier when the stickers are so large. It just rolls off with ease. So here you can kind of see where I noticed it was a little bit too high now on the right-handed page. So we'll just make that adjustment real quick and reset that page. Again, rolling everything off. And just making sure things don't shift around as I'm doing this. I like to reveal a little bit of the sticker backer first, and then just pull it through. That usually works pretty well. Pulling in a diagonal tends to be the best method, but you can do it like I just did there, kind of straight off. It still came off pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and separate out the pages now. I'm just going to use my precision cutter and a ruler to first separate the pages, and then I will clean out the holes as well using those same tools. I don't like to try to repunch my pages, at least with my Happy Planner punch. I have tried with my handheld disc power punch, and that works okay, but it works better on thicker materials, so cutting out the holes tends to be the easiest way I found to get a nice precise cut without damaging any of the decor I've laid down. So I just hand cut those, and now I'm just going to trim off the excess pieces, maybe save anything I think I might be able to reuse in a corner somewhere, and then trim off the uneven box that I made when I cut the long box in half. So everything's looking good there. Go ahead and do the same with the whole treatment here on the left-sided page. This is pretty fast and easy. Those stickers are kind of thick. I think they're more of almost like a vinyl sticker. So it just took a little bit of extra elbow grease to cut through those. And now I'll try to put in any kind of trimmings that I saw that I could use. I put in the extra pine cone. It's pretty much all I think that I'll put in from that, but thought it might be nice to have a little bit of extra on some of these edges to be going off of the page. So I went ahead and trimmed out one of those stickers, brought in some extra leaves, and then I'll drop those in. Maybe make an adjustment up here. I didn't like it being so repetitive. So we'll cut it apart and do one on one side and one on the other or something. I just like the feel of it going outside of the boundaries of the page. So everything's looking good there. The next step here is going to be adding just a bit of splatter to the spread. I just like that little extra touch of texture when I can, and I found that this gold calligraphy ink is really good for this. It has just the right amount of thickness to it so that it sets on the page but doesn't seep in and dries fairly fast. So I'm just going to splatter a little bit on there and give that time to dry. As I'm doing that, I will also figure out what colors I'm going to use in these mild liners for my checklists and then set those in, being delicate here so that I don't touch any of the drying splatter. And I'm just going to do kind of a gradient of color going from yellow, orange, deeper orange to brown, and then the reverse on the opposite side. And as you can see, finding space for some of these checklists is a little bit tricky, but I got them in, keeping things functional. And all right, that's going to be pretty much it. I'm going to give this a second to dry, and then once we're done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye!